powerful because we're going to see that what you call Mesopotamia, what you call Arabia today, were colonized first and foremost by the Sudanese. Okay, and I'm going to just use that term, was first colonized by the Sudanese. And what we know of as the Sudanese or Nubia. Okay. And now this is very powerful that I bring this up because this is also coming out of that particular encyclopedia. And so they saying shit that you rarely gonna hear somebody say. If you get them earlier books, then you get information out of them books that, you rarely gonna get out of, some modern books. You see what I'm saying? Nah, this information came from up under Mizraim. Now, Mizraim was Egypt in the Bible. We know that we could discard, but for the sake of understanding who we are and what they trying to say, then we know we can use the term in the respect of reading the Bible. Not that anything in the Bible is, got to be true. It is some truth in it. You understand what I'm saying? If you know how to do, and it's a whole lot of garbage in it. The truth that I use is mostly geographical. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with no prophets, none of that shit. No God. That shit is discarded. I'm just looking for geography, a couple of names, and you understand and see what it is that they think about those particular areas. And you will find out that in the Bible, they said a lot of shit that they wish they hadn't said. And I can tell you that. And where that is, I amplify it and I take it to their ass. And so you see right here, you see Mizraim, which is Egypt. You see the names of Mizraim, Egypt, and the descendants of Mizraim appear to all be names of nations rather than of individuals. And they include far more than Egypt. So when you look at Shem and you look at all them so-called Hebrews, they were never nations, per se. They were just individuals. But when you look at the names of the Cushites and you look at they all nations. I wonder why is that? Because what they did is they tried to squeeze a far more ancient people into the paradigm of goat herders. And so they made it seem like, we had the same father and this, they know it, but it was not true. You understand what I'm saying? So where they speak about African people, we already in the highest areas of civilization, language, architecture, medicine, where they were still scooting around out in the desert. We have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? They were still scooting around out there in the desert. And so it says that Mizraim, and I want y'all to listen to this because he's telling you something, and I want y'all to understand that this is a Cro-Magnon Neanderthal writer, okay? Mizraim, therefore, like Cush and perhaps Ham, you see, geographically represents a center whence colonies went forth in the remotest period of the post-Diluvian history. We regard the distribution of the Mizraites, which are the Egyptians. Listen, we regard the distribution of the Egyptians as showing that their colonies were but a part of the great migration that gave the Cushites. Now you see right there, he showed you that the Cushite and the Egyptians are interchangeable. So once you understand that the Cushite are the Sudanese, and you know how black the Sudanese is, you can make clear that the Egyptians are just as black. And so and not only that, the father, Ham, is also black. And so I'm going to tell you, they wish they had not said shit like that. You see, but they hadn't got into Egypt yet. They hadn't really seen what was in Egypt. And so they spoke before they really realized how great Egypt, and when it was too late. And so they just created what they call some dark-skinned Caucasians and shit, and the Hamites. And so they start conjuring up new lies to explain away that critical information that they wish they had not spoken. So you see the Egyptians are interchangeable with the Cushites. Now listen, that we regard the distribution of the Mizrahites, the Egyptians, as showing that their colonies were but a part of the great migration that gave the Cushites the command of the Indian Ocean, okay, which I've already stated 1,000 times. So when I say Naga, and I show you, I don't want y'all to think that scholars have not went over the world and have already come to the understanding that these are two halves of one great empire, okay? And when I talk about the Naga Kushite, I'm talking about the woolly-headed Buddhas. And I'm gonna cut into them, the real hard, so people understand that those are interlopers. They have nothing to do with the original architecture and culture of that part of the world. That they have come in and they have interloped and they have usurped the culture and the stolen legacy from the African Cushites, who they over there committing genocide on at this time. And so it says, and which explains the affinity the Egyptian monument show us between the pre-Hellenistic Cretans. So that's on the island of Crete. We're talking about the Minoan civilization. So it show you right there that he even state that the Egyptian monuments show hella similarities to the pre-Hellenistic. So that was before the Hellenes brought hell upon the planet. So that show you right there that those areas were African long before any Cro-Magnon Neanderthal even showed up, okay? And so we just want to say that. So when we talk about going all over the world, we talking about them Sudanese. We talking about them burn, and of course, our other family too. I'm not, but when you come with that, when you come with the highest standard, you understand them little vagabonds can't get it in there. And that's what we need to do to keep, because a lot of people, like I say, the Arab, they letting the Arab get in and get, Sabian. The Sabian ain't got shit to do with Africa. That's them Arab-loving niggas that want to, get an Arab some type of supremacy in that part of the world. And I'm not going to let you do it. So a lot of them, when they say Sheba and this, that didn't have shit to do with that was some shit written in the biblical, you know what I'm saying? Translation. But once you understand that the Ethiopia in the Bible is Sudan, then when we talk about Sheba and the queen, that was even preceding that. They had nothing to do with no Sheba marrying no damn Solomon. She can't find a husband in Abyssinia, but she gonna go down there and find a goddamn husband in Israel. And y'all motherfuckers ain't got no problems with that. You understand? And will say that the Israelites were Caucasians. What kind of shit is that? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of, crackatosis and niggeritis in a lot of those translations, and I'm just not gonna let you get away with it. You see what I'm saying? So now let's deal with the Naga Kush. Now the Naga Kush, how did the Mon, you got the Mon Khmer. You understand, which are the Africans that established civilization in parts of Cambodia, Thailand. Then you got the Champa that was southern Vietnam, what today is southern Vietnam. How did the Africans get over there? And they're still getting over there is by the monsoons. So the Africans actually took the monsoons into Mesopotamia and India long before any Indians came to Africa. I want to be clear about that. You understand what I'm saying? We got to dispel that the ancient Naga Kushites of India are the straight-head so-called Indian Hindu of today. That's just not true. When you look at the Buddha, you're looking at the deity, and the deity established who the people are, because he's the supreme image of the land, and we see that it is a woolly head Kushite Buddha, okay? And so I want to be clear about that. Now, from June to September, the monsoons go towards India, and then from September to March, they blow back towards Africa. So that's even how they got into Mesopotamia. You see what I'm saying? And when you look, all of them civilizations start right there in the south, closest to Africa. When you talk about And right here we see, this is how people came into India and went up through what today is called the Persian Gulf to establish what we call Sumer, which is in the south. All those, and then we'll talk about the Harappian culture, which is right there in what today they call the Arabian Sea. And I don't understand how the hell they named a sea after a goat herder who was landlocked on the goddamn in the desert, and the only boat he was sailing on